So then they're wondering why they're getting, beat up off stage and everything. And yeah, I think we have another.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's playing.
Well, that's Fisher on GD.
Okay.
And I think
do we
that's
know?
Stockton.
I have no idea.
I think it's Fisher Stockton.
I think you might be right because
I know
it's
Stockton
Nicholas.
is the min-min. GD is the Ganon player for Fisher.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you were exactly right. So match 3. This is Stockton versus Fisher.
Yep.
So JD on Ganon right now.
JD on Ganon.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was really excited. This is one of the other students that I was talking about that, again, he doesn't have lane experience as much, especially in the collegiate, so this is, first collegiate land. He was really excited to come play matches offline. That was a big part of, bringing him here.
Yeah.
He's giving him those opportunities.
And it's, a strong showing from Ganon right now, especially against a character like Min Min. Ganon is not going to be the most mobile character in the game, probably and debatably the least mobile character in the game in some ways.
I know, he's talked about this too. He isn't bad in the Min Min matchup, but he has talked a little bit about this matchup. He's told me, he says like his 4 horsemen matchup is the way that he likes to call it, right? Where it's like Pikachu, Inkling, the characters that Ganon just can't win against. And he didn't include Min Min, and I asked him about it one time, and he's like, no, I have a gameplay. So we'll have to see. I didn't really go too much into detail with it, but I had to ask him, and I mean, that's part of it, right? He got the nair and everything.
Stockton is Min Min, and Ganon is Fisher. Yep.
So looking for that nair off stage, actually running off stage against a Min Min and got the kill.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense because Min Min has such a strong recovery when it comes. Its tethers in this game are relatively, quote unquote, broken. But Min Min's is probably the worst, quote unquote, tether because of how shallow it is. You generally know where she's going to recover. So if you have an active hitbox, run off, she'll go right back out. And she probably can't get back from that, especially if she burned her jump.
Exactly, and you now see the Min Min is really slowing down the game plan. At the first stock, the Min Min was definitely running in a bit more. So learning the gameplay a little bit better, able to get that wizard's foot, trying to get in, get a little bit of damage, and reading that roll and getting the stock.
Wow, it's so crazy.
At 60.
And it's like with Ganon, it's like, sure, he has a tough time sometimes getting in on certain characters. He might have to work a little bit harder on his mobility. But with Ganon, sometimes you need 2, 3 decent reads. Stock's gone, and if you're able to make those interactions work, it's not unbearable. That's where Ganon shines, making those correct reads a lot of the time. He's a very read-oriented character, and just not letting up the pressure, but we are seeing the punish with up smash.
Yeah, and getting that first stock is really, really big, especially against the Ganon. You take away that rage, which honestly is what killed the Min Min on the second stock there. You're taking away a lot of the options for the Ganon, so able to deal a little bit more damage, looking for that forward smash read, not able to get it, and thus taking 45%.
Trying to catch landing with Megawatt. Charging Megawatt. Not going to get punished for that, though. Ganon's not going to be able to jump in quite quick enough for that. Those interactions are going to be where Min Min shines, though, is that those long stage interactions, because you're not able to get up. You throw Megawatt out to punish whatever roll, or throw Rainbow out to punish jump, things of that sort. So this is where Ganon is going to suffer. I think right now Nicholas is giving up a little too much stage control against Ganon, against JD right now. Going for the Nair, not able to snag it though.
And he's honestly, with 2 stocks left, this is looking really, really grim for the Min Min here on the side of Stockton. So JD just looking for some of those big reads and actually getting the up B, and that's going to take game number 1.
Set number 1. Those upbeat kills are actually relatively rare for Ganon, I would say. It's not like the most rare thing, but I can't remember the last time I saw a Ganon kill with upbeat in like an actual competition.
Yeah, so JD is actually a little infamous at Fisher for getting like weird kills. So there is a streamed match of him getting an up tilt kill. And if you know
really?
Ganon's up tilt,
was it on a ledge interaction? Like how?
Yeah, it was on ledge. Like he actually just got this like massive read, and honestly, the character they overshot the ledge right into the wizard foot and just, or not wizard foot, up into the up tilt and just instantly evaporated. So.
Those are like the best moments.
Exactly.
I feel like it's just like when you have that read, a certain interaction is going to go away. You get this long windup, your whole baseball bat of a foot coming right back down.
He went to Ganon side somebody and misinputted as a neutral B, and the person ran into the neutral B off ledge, and he was already dead, and the person ran after him. He actually gets the neutral B. They go flying across the stage. He's like 100% dead, and they die first in a crew battle.
Oh, wait, Ganon, they die first?
No, the other person died first because
really?
he sent up. Yeah, he's because of the neutral B. He meant to Ganon
Oh, it was
side.
neutral B. That's right.
He went to Ganon side. He had 2 stocks left, and they only had 1. He went to Ganon side, misinputted as a neutral B, and hit the neutral B, and they went flying across. It was so funny. So just getting these random reads that honestly work because it's Ganon, right? So.
Yeah. So now, I mean, against a character like Ganon, well, Fisher is going to have stage ban opportunity now, and we're not going to get into it because we know what's. Oh no. I don't know what they picked, but Ganon can, because he can get counterpicked pretty easily against a lot of characters, especially if there are certain zoners. Depending on how they play, they can use Battlefield as kind of like the hiding point of platform. Something like Steve, if they want to stay behind wall, then they have the platform to get around. Or if you have Hydrant, you can plant it there. Samus, if it's like you can do more FD to kind of catch jumps, but I'm not. Are they sending Yoshi?
They are sending in a Yoshi. I don't know Stockton's match or lineup at all. I do know they have a Min on their team, obviously, because they just played. But also, I watched the last set. I don't know about this Yoshi. Who's the last characters for Stockton?
Well, for I'm trying to remember now. Now is everything starting to fade away. But they definitely did not have Yoshi.
I was going to say that's an interesting character.
Yeah.
Honestly, especially against a heavy like Ganon, Yoshi is going to be able to stay alive for a while. But honestly, JD has talked about this matchup too being one of the ones that he prefers, just because it's Ganon. Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like Yoshi is going to have decent zoning potential, especially with something like Egg, trying to use back air as that kind of stay away. Yeah. Get away. So it's a matter of can Ganon, he might get punished with Egg, just like we kind of saw. Can he make it in? Because I feel like down B will be a decent interaction where he can kind of go quickly across the stage to make those effective maneuvers.
And this is one of the things too with when you're playing against a Ganon or you're playing against a Little Mac or some of these other characters that have quote unquote cheese, right? The best way to kind of play against them is to play lane, right? Like match cheese with lane.
Yes.
Like, and you even saw that with the Yoshi starting to try and camp a little bit on the ledge. We've seen that too in like some of the other matches, or I've seen that at least in some of the matches that JD has played against, where people just sit under the ledge because it's Ganon, right? Like if you're under that platform, there's not much that he can do. The only approach he has is Wizard Foot or like Phantom Falling with Nair.
Yeah, but we are seeing able to sneak around the fairs from Ganon. Going to get a little bit more percent with Egg right there. I could have sworn we were going to see back air out of shield. I thought we were going to see a punish for that. But Yoshi playing that range right now, really trying not to commit. But fair is going to send them right back off. Not enough percent to kill though.
And honestly, this is a tricky. If JD is able to get this first punish, that's going to be really big for Fisher, just being able to be up in this situation, right? You don't ever want to make sure that you're going down there. Yoshi not able to connect there, but the fair does end up taking this first stock for Stockton.
Yeah, making decent worth out of the stock right now. That is going to get punished with a nice F smash, going for these combo extensions. I could have sworn we were going to see enough air, but instead going for the up tilt, and you are going to get punished for running up platform after that up tilt, putting this Yoshi player stock down to 2.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, this is one of the big things with like the Ganon bread and butter in these types of matchups is he's just looking to rack up as much damage as he can and stay away from any of the Yoshi aerials. Like that's really all you can do. You saw Yoshi trying to go for that down air, getting a big stop or a big damage onto the shield, but not able to really punish that. Really nice recovery there from the Wizards. Not a lot of people do that with Ganon anymore. They try and do like a very linear recovery back to ledge, but Ganon actually has a hitbox where the hand comes through on those ledges, and that's really important. Now getting the side B into the up smash read, and you're already seeing a percentage lead now for JD.
That egg was looking mighty dark, and we are going to get you cannot afford to not afford to get shield broken against Ganon pretty much at any percent. Yes, it's sans 0, but even then I feel like at ledge Warlock Punch is going to probably kill.
Kid you not, on the car ride, JD was actually in the shotgun seat here, and when we stopped at a stoplight, I looked over. He was playing against a level 9 bot and just trying to shield break. Like, he was practicing shield break combos on his way here, so I'm really happy that he was able to get that shield break against this Yoshi.
Well, those are the things that you need to be very familiar with Ganon, is like, okay, well, I'm going to be pressuring the shield. Can I get like some sort of punish off of this, or can I just go harder and then break that shield? And in those cases, Ganon is going to be at his strongest. He doesn't need to interact in neutral at that point. He has you locked in shield, break it, then if you can, snag the kill, which most likely he can at that point. But those shield break options are going to be the strongest. But we are, that's going to get punished.
You did see that again. JD was going for like the really hard reads. He ended up getting the side B onto the Yoshi out of the shield, then tried to read a roll back. The Yoshi actually rolled away, ran up, did his tilt, and was able to get the last stock on JD.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was close to a shield break too, if I wasn't mistaken. I looked over quickly. That egg was looking
very
dark
close.
too.
It was very dark.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes against Ganon, you don't don't want to be in shield, because if you're in shield, it probably means Ganon is more than likely winning those neutral interactions. Sure, he doesn't have great distress, but he still has fair. He can still space it well on you. So if you're shielding, you generally want to fight Ganon with mobility. You want to be away from him outside of his range, and if you're staying in shield, you're not able to do that. And Yoshi does have wonderful airspeed, can make use of that. But you know, we did see we saw 2 stocks taken.
2 stocks taken. So yeah, now Stockton down at 4. Fisher up by 2 stocks here. Going to send in their next player. My assumption is they're going to.
Gentlemen to Skyloft?
Not gentlemen. I mean, listen, sure, whatever. I mean, I'm too old at this point to remember Skyloft, but you know, like Gentleman's Hyrule. Come on, I've been asked that before. Like that's Hyrule Fight Club down in the bottom left.
Oh
corner.
my God, I miss it so much.
The nostalgia is there, but I mean that would be fantastic. But
you'd be happy with Gentleman Castle Siege.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, Gentleman Castle Siege too. No, you get to turn off the animations though. That was always obnoxious, just like getting the stage switcher, the stage morphing, whatever you want to call it. But what I was gonna say is you're probably not gonna see Moxie here. You're probably gonna see more like either G-XTREME Ray or Bleu. So,
yeah. Let people kind of have their own kind of interactions with this. I'm very curious about what they're thinking about for stage trans. Now with Yoshi, I assume Yoshi is probably, well, it's tough. I feel like Yoshi can do well on pretty much any stage because he can kill off the top, he can kill off the sides, he can spike. He can kill pretty much wherever he really wants. It's just, I guess he has to make a prediction of, does he think that they're going to send in Moxie? If so, then maybe bring in something more of like a tri-platform so you don't have to deal with laser as much. But then again, Wolf can really get a lot of platform extensions, and you have to be very careful with that.
I think here we do get to know player character, and then they pick the stage.
Yes,
I'm not
correct.
100% sure yet. So actually, they're putting their name in, so we get a little bit of a. So it's going to be G-XTREME.
Okay. So this is a matchup I'm not the most familiar with. It's kind of a rarer matchup, I feel like. Not many people play Pikachu, not many people play Yoshi. But I feel like Pikachu, with armor being a thing on Yoshi, I feel like some of these stage interactions that Pikachu has might not be so consistent, but maybe you can shed some light on that.
Because it's Yoshi, and because he has 1 stock, and because Steve is legal. We might see Steve. G-XTREME plays Steve. He can actually get a lot of the juggles. You get the up tilt juggles. You get, the magma block is really good into Yoshi because it's just covering all of Yoshi's aerials. Yoshi has to approach from either side. So if Yoshi's just above you, it's magma block just scoops you up and kills you if you're Yoshi. So that's my assumption is that we'll end up seeing the Steve
all right,
here.
You got to place a bet on it now. You got to put money down. You are required to put some money down.
I'm trying to even think. Listen, it's G-XTREME, so he's got 3 characters, right? Like, he's going to pick the Pikachu into most of the big heavies because this way here he can juggle. Okay, he's going. All this.
Where's my $20?
Yeah. I'm talking all about the Steve and everything, and I thought he'd go Steve because we did actually see him pick Steve against Pharaoh in the CECC regional finals.
Oh, cool.
So that was a big reason for that, and we did talk about that because of Yoshi's just aerial mobility. Again, Magma Block is just broken against Yoshi. It just wins. But again, Pikachu is a little bit more of the safe pick, just because one, that is his better character in my opinion, but number 2, you can do that.
Ooh, that must be pretty consistent on Yoshi, I feel like, especially because of his weight.
Yep.
And we're probably going to see a lot of those. Though we are seeing his own strings coming out for a lot of his own up air strings.
Yeah, really good call-outs from this Yoshi, just trying to see what he can do against G-XTREME. But G-XTREME trying to go for the hard read, take the stock really early, so not able to get it, and just now doing the Pikachu inputs.
Trying to get the tech chase there, but Pikachu had enough time to air dodge out, so not going to be able to follow up, roll in, and going to get out of that tech situation again. Really good being very cognizant about what Yoshi wants to look for in that situation. Because Yoshi can run. He has the boots. He has the Tims to go from one side of the stage to the other.
Right, and I know G-XTREME also plays pretty often against Miles just because they're in the same region, and now we see a jab block, a massive jab block here, getting about 20% there, and getting the forward smash read.
Reading that landing. Wow. Wow, that
really,
was
really
nice.
nice.
Yeah, and it's like Yoshi did not have to make that jump. Yoshi could have gone right to ledge, and typically that's gonna be the safer option. But you could see the experience knowing that Yoshi's like to jump because of that armor. So then they gotta go somewhere. They gotta land.
G-XTREME is also a player that really relies on habits. And if you watch the Yoshi in that last game against JD, a lot of the times he's landing and then choosing an option. So he is hesitating on those individual options. He's not like trying to do a panic option or trying to get like a big landing. So G-XTREME knew that he was just going to try and full fall and then just got the forward smash rate. So really, really nicely done on G-XTREME, just taking that last stock. Now putting them up 6-3 right now against Stockton.
So you can probably put a lot of insight into the Pikachu bans. I assume we're probably gonna, be seeing Yoshi storage still open because of those side platforms. Any stage like Kalos, anything with kind of like that side area, Pikachu's gonna really like to be on. So maybe we might see. I feel like FD might still be open too because of T-Jolt. T-Jolt's going to be very strong on FD.
I know a lot of people like. Typically with Pikachu, you do want to ban Yoshis and Kalos against most Pikachus, but I know that G-XTREME doesn't necessarily like playing on those stages. He's a very aggressive Pikachu. Most of the Pikachus, they like those stages because they can heavy camp.
Yes.
There's not much that you can do. There's a lot of options for platform landing. There's a lot more quick tech options as well. So, and this is going to be an interesting matchup if it is a Sonic, just because I do know that G-XTREME plays a lot against Sonics. So he ended up playing against he got eliminated at Shine by Kells, one of the big Sonic players from Canada. He also ended up playing into two other Sonic players that day. Beef, I think he played into Beef at Shine back in like August of this year. So, lots and lots of experience in this matchup.
Yeah, and I feel like Pikachu, just in theory, some people will say that Sonic has no losing matchups in so many ways. And I'm like on the borderline of that. I'm like, maybe not. But I feel like Pikachu is a very, at least even for that, because T-Jolt is going to be able to at least prevent Sonic from, at least playing that flatter side of it. And the speed itself is going to be very much on par in some ways. Able to kind of, especially when it comes to potentially punishing spin dash in some ways, probably with back air or up air. That might be the interaction that's a bit more niche, though, is how does Sonic play against Pikachu's shield and making that cross-up work?
This matchup is very, very campy for Sonic. Again, Sonic being a character that, is rewarded for camping, but, being in crew battles, it can be really difficult in the big read on the roll, getting the up smash, not going for the forward smash there. He had Jab's forward smash. That was probably locked up, not necessarily in a big part, using the town and city ceiling and able to get that first stop.
And here's like the next level of it is how early in a match can you understand those reads, those habits? They probably need to roll once in some ways, and then G-XTREME knows they're going to roll out of this tech situation. I can just reverse and just go up smash here, get the full punish. Being able to make those reads and recognitions of habits so early on is so key in so many factors.
Right, and I actually really like that. So G-XTREME had a bunch of options. Could have forward smash, could have rolled forward smash, and then could have up smash. Up smash covers the most options, covers the roll, covers like a bit of a get up or anything, or just a neutral get up. The only thing it doesn't cover is he rolls away. He could have rolled away, but then he just tech chases with T-Jolt or something, and honestly would still just work in that juggle and probably end up taking that stock. Now getting the big down smash, I know that's a big move that you typically see against the Sonic players, just because it does actually beat spin dash.
The spike is going to take a second of the stock on this, and Sonic from behind, I feel like becomes relatively significantly worse character because he's not able to really camp anymore. He needs to make those interactions, not great disjoints. And when you have to interact with Pikachu, good luck is what I'm saying.
Forced to approach, forced to come in, forced to do a big matchup. What the big thing is G-XTREME is not giving him time to breathe. He's not giving him enough time to actually charge these up smashes and just going for the big under the stage of town, looking for that. I know I've seen G-XTREME do those mix-ups and everything. If you have someone who is looking for a big charge smash attack like that, that's typically what you'll see the Pikachu do is all right, you're going to charge the F smash. I'm just going to go to the other side of the stage because Pikachu just has a crazy recovery in this matchup.
We are going to see the punish though with that down smash punish. Pikachu's landing out of free fall is going to snag the first stock off of G-XTREME for Stockton. Oh my god, that's going to be kill.
Yeah, right on the platform, just making it really difficult. That move sends far.
Yeah.
And you need to SDI that move perfectly. And I think it's up, is what you're supposed to SDI. It's
Well,
either up
it must be up
or back.
It must be up and well, because the back hit's going to send the other way. So I assume it's got to be if you're on that back hit up and towards Pikachu, so you can like fall out of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're fighting it, you're probably just going to go farther into the move. That's my assumption. Not 100% though. I find that's how a lot of moves work.
But you can even see in that type of matchup too, he dies at like 60-70%, and
the
honestly,
side platform.
it was on the side platform. And so honestly, I think that is like matchup checking a
Yes.
little bit in that situation where he is being like, okay, do you know how to SCI this, right? And that's again, it's a multi-hit move, so we all know about smash multi-hits.
Now that was only the first round. Right? That was relatively quick, but considering what happened last round, the last match, I'm wondering now. That was the first one, right?
That was game one
Yeah.
against Stockton and everything. So yeah, Fisher won that 5-0. Now looking into game number 2. Honestly, with G-XTREME already in, I won't be surprised if he leads.
If he leads, yeah.
I think he'll lead in this type of matchup. And this was game number 1.
Yeah, that was game 1. No, that was game 1. So yeah, we're going to so now we're getting a reset on 9 stocks for each team. We're gonna have some of our starter stages off the opening. I assume probably PS2. Yeah, safe bet. And Pikachu as a character, such a strong opening character. Lighter character, but really strong strings that can really get that beginning momentum going, and it's like you just cascade from there.
One of the nice things when you have a really strong crew like Fisher's crew is that you have these options to kind of practice a little bit in bracket. I know that sounds either like some people can consider that disrespectful, whatever it might be, but I know that G-XTREME, he won't do bans in a lot of these types of situations.
Because he wants the full stage.
Because he wants the full stage list. He says, pick your best stage and let me practice against your character on your best stage.
Yeah.
And that gives him a lot more experience and gives him more knowledge within these certain matchups, and that's actually how he gets better in these types of situations. So just learning from there, because he's at that level, he's able to do that. So you might not see PS2, you might see like FD and they pick a Shoto, right? That's definitely an option. So
I would like to see that.
Yoshi Enderman, see? So
Enderman!
yeah, looking at the Steve matchup, looking at, trying to see what he can end up doing. Again, I know this is, one of his big, like I said, he picked this against Pharaoh, one of the best Yoshis that we see in Tri-State. So we'll have to see. You were right, it is PS2, of course.
Well, I feel like especially Steve in something like this, he's going to really like platforms, building that 2-block and right in between platform. And then so you have to dedicate yourself to a jump to get there, or else you're just tilting on blocks over and over. So getting it on Steve on stages like this is going to be pretty tough. How much can Steve kind of keep out of that? But we are seeing a lot of aggression coming out of this Yoshi right now. Going for the early fair, but going to miss.
Yeah, and you actually saw one of the new, not the new Steve, not PMLG, wanted to clarify, did not see PMLG, but I did see one of the new Steve techs that I've been looking at where it's chasing with Elytra. Is one of the things, because if you actually swoop, you can get and cancel some of the end lag on there. So he actually ended up doing minecart, swooped in with Elytra, and this way here he's keeping that pressure on the Yoshi. That's something that you typically want to see a lot of these Steves do. Going for the back throw, looking to mine, getting gold or iron. I didn't necessarily see which one it was that he got, but just trying to mine up. Yeah, he doesn't have diamond yet, so it looks like he ended up getting gold.
Yeah,
here,
and I feel like
iron.
And I feel with that in mind, I feel like Elytra would be going for the early minecart with not early, but the red powered minecart. But I feel like Elytra will cover a lot of matchups in some ways, because Steve's ability isn't amazing, but something like Elytra, he moves so fast.
And one of the things there that you actually just missed was the Magma Block does the drag down, right? And so that's typical with Yoshi, just because of the way that Yoshi has the big air mobility. He ended up getting dragged down with that Magma Block, and he's able to follow it up. Really nice anvil, really nice TNT setup.
That DI was almost living. I was actually a little surprised that he lived for so long, but it is going to confirm into that final stock. And playing the space really well with Diamond right now. And that's all really Steve needs right now at 127. Oh my god.
Can we get the big last stock Diamond? And he's going for these tilts. So again, one of the hard things is that you do have Steve with Rage, and he is on that last stock Diamond, last stock being for Yoshi in this situation. So trying to go for these big things, not necessarily get the juggle, and he does end up getting the up smash and gets punished. So now, without Diamond, gonna have to land, get that gold, and see if he can actually do some sort of drag across the stage.
Yeah, and especially for Yoshi in something thing like this, Yoshi needs to commit whenever he wants to get a kill. It's got to be up smash, it's got to be bear, it's got to be fair off-stage interaction. And it's like, you know, how consistent are you going to get those scenarios against a character like Steve? It's probably a bit more rare if you're not keeping that movement pressure. And now Steve's just kind of planting behind the wall, building even more diamonds off of that stock.
I was going to say, I really like the double wall set up from Steve and just looking for the forward smash and getting that stock against the Yoshi. But he had a really nice setup where he did do the double wall, right? Wall, mine, and this way here we can get the diamond.
Yeah, always be getting diamonds. What's the acronym for that? A, B, G, D. A, B, G, D.
Excellent.
Always be getting diamonds.
Always be getting diamonds.
Yeah. Or gold. You know, depends.
So really nicely done. He is locked into Steve. So that means, honestly, I kind of like this too, especially seeing that the Yoshi was coming in first, because now you have the Min, and Min is terrible against Steve.
Yeah.
In this opinion. You know, I mean, she's going to be able to take the blocks and everything, but Steve has so many other options. Has the mine cart, has, you know, the fishing rod too, which can kind of match some of the Min, you know, range with the arms. But honestly, being able to pull up the wall, just build the wall and everything, able to then mine, get diamond pretty much on every single stock against Min. And then I'm trying to remember the last player for Stockton, and it's escaping me. Who did we even see in the last stock? Sonic.
Yes.
So actually, Sonic does counter Steve supposedly.
Now, how when it comes to a player like G-XTREME, how much does the actual terrain come into play when it comes to like mining? How much is that considered in like his matchup in like stage banning?
So it's really good in the types of situations where if he's able to strike first, or he's able to kind of come in on like a blind pick, because a lot of these, you know, collegiate crew battles, they will be like blind picks or whatever. It is a little bit better for him just because he's able to pick some of his better stages. But in some situations where it's like, okay, PS2, that's just going to be the normal, you know, resource cycle and everything. So you see it here, leaving Kalos open. That is one of Steve's better stages.
Yeah, especially for Min. I feel like Min would want to have some sort of platform to at least, you know, angle arms a certain way. Maybe be able to, you know, be a little sneaky with how you're angling laser. But if we're playing on a flat stage, Min is going to have to laser a ton, try to jump over or block a ton. I feel like this is not the stage.
You wanted small battlefield.
Yes.
Small battlefield is what you want, especially against the Steve. Assuming he didn't ban it, right? He probably banned it and everything. Well, he probably also banned Yoshi's, is my other assumption in this types of matchups. So, but honestly, you do definitely want to ban Kalos. You could have even, like, FD would have been better to leave open than Kalos, right, in this type of situation. So.
Yeah, because then this gives Steve option on how elevated is he. Where does he actually want to be in relation to Min? I thought we were going to get that F smash for sure.
The big thing that Steve can do on Kalos is he can actually 3-block. 3-block goes above that top platform, so he even gets like additional additional coverage where it makes it even more dangerous. You do have the magma block that does also go through that platform, and because of the way the magma block hitbox is, it covers the entire platform.
That's so.
And it can actually scoop up and in as well. And if you don't, you have to SDI into the stage, because if you SDI out, you risk going DI, and then you risk dying really, really early. You also have minecart that takes you right across the stage in this types of situations, so
and I assume,
really tough.
I assume you even have the choice to go off stage as Steve, because of Min's recovery. You run off fair, or back air. It's like your choice, wherever you feel like Min is going to be, especially on a walled stage like Kalos, where she can't, like, you know, be sneaky and kind of hug the stage a little bit more and essentially get out of it. She has to at least be level with that stage.
Exactly. Yeah, she has to end up trying to get on the level on that stage and everything. And my brain is escaping me right now. Because Min doesn't have a wall jump. No. So again, you know, not necessarily able to use the Kalos, but honestly doing a fine job here. You don't need to do amazing in this type of matchup, going even in these types of percentage, not losing a stock yet against this Steve. So, you know, still doing her job. So honestly, it could just be wrong.
Well, it's also going to be player dependent in some ways, especially how you play. How often? Up throw is going to.
I was going to say 170, whatever it was. Yeah, she was dead.
Yeah, but I guess it's going to be these interactions of how often can you put Steve off stage, because that's going to be the point where Min is the strongest. If you can keep Steve off stage, sure, Steve has full range of wherever he wants to kind of recover from with Elytra, but Min can still interact with it with Ram, with Megawatt to a lesser extent because it can't angle you guys down, but even angle down Dragon.
Right. And I like how G-XTREME is playing this current matchup, just trying to get as much percent as he can and try and do some of the funny Steve stuff that he can do, you know, seeing what he can get against it. But honestly, you know, Now going down to his last stock here, he should. But now with Diamond, you know, it's going to be even more dangerous for this Min able to at least get back to stage. But she's in a little bit of trouble.
Wow, I'm actually surprised. Minecart powers right. Was that Ram Ram? It goes right through Ram Ram. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it makes it even tougher for Min to even anti-air at that point.
I believe it's only obviously the gold minecart that can go through that, but it's because it has like that grab property. Minecart's weird just because of the grab property, and you do get the fair spike.
What percent was that? Was she 8%?
50. Oh no, she was over at least 50%. I'm not necessarily sure. It might have been like 80% in that range. So
Still, that's early, especially for the character like Min Min. If you Min Min is just a very, if you can get those early kills, it's so good because she's a very evasive character. Most of the time, you're not going to find the opportunities to kill at those low percents just because of how out of range she is. So when you find them, that's primo. That's nice.
And again, he still has the diamond here, so that's going to be important in this matchup. Already looking for those kills. Again, evening it up actually has a little bit of a percentage lead. Unfortunately, just because it's Min able to kind of camp this out, really pull back. Again, Steve's just going to mind, right? He's going to end up saying, hey, like, maybe I don't take this with a single diamond. I'm going to have to look for another diamond. G-XTREME's also, I really like how he's landing. He's waiting for those big commits with the tilts from the Min, with the big smashes from the Min, and getting the roll read. TNT covers everything, except for you have to do a full jump to cover the TNT, and even then, like, G-XTREME has the option to cover it. You have to get him to pop it early. You either have to, like, jump out and then tether back and try and get that punish there, but you can't roll, you can't neutral get up, you're just going to get hit by TNT.
Yeah, now, a couple questions about that, actually. So the interaction with TNT, I assume you can neutral get up through it, but how often does G-XTREME, like, charge the down smash and wait for the option?
Exactly. Most of the time you do see, like, the charge option there, and honestly, because of the extended hitbox, it's very hard to just neutral get up and just wait
it's not like Mega Flare, where that's going to come out every single time the way it is.
Exactly. You have to read it and know that it's coming and know exactly how to, like, get out of it before anything. And honestly, if you're just going to neutral get up or neutral roll, you're going to get hit by that every time.
Such a crazy option. And then you have the potential of setting up Anvil on platform, covering every option if you so need. If you have the time for setup, Steve is just such a strong character in this game.
As long as he's able to keep doing those setups, honestly, he's looking really, really clean in these matchups too. Honestly, learning from the Min a little bit more. One of the things, like I was saying with those tilts, just waiting for it, because Min, the hitboxes are on the ends of her arms. It's not actually, there's no hitbox here. Obviously, she'd be broken if she had hitboxes all the way back here.
That would be amazing.
That would be...
Well, not amazing, but...
no Byleth hitboxes anymore, right? Like actual like hitboxes.
Oh shoot.
Fisher has 7 and Stockton has 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because that was one.
Stockton's on last character. Fisher has 1 stock, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and honestly, so like being able to like fast land and be able to like get the Min from there and waiting for those commits is really important.
Yeah. So now this leaves. I assume we're going to see Sonic at this point. That's our last character right now, unless we get a character or a player switch.
Might get a player swap.
Now I assume he can't spin dash through block.
So. Yeah, kinda. It's really bizarre. So typically the way that you see Steve's you see Sonic's play this matchup is you see like falling fair to start to work their way through those 2 blocks, end up trying to get like in between some of the blocks. The big way that Sonic has to play this matchup is that's interesting. G-XTREME mind carded from neutral. He's got it. One more. One more. G-XTREME.
Yeah, he needs to SD one more time.
That's okay.
They can always just play it like this, I guess.
And if he loses 1 stock, it's fine.
Yeah,
they'll go figure it out.
Yeah. So
he only has 1 stock left.
Can you make sure that they'll play the 1 stock? Yeah. Okay.
It happens, honestly.
Yeah,
sometimes.
all the time.
Like crew battles aren't the major game that these guys are mostly playing a lot of the time, so sometimes it's hard kind of following up those certain rules.
Yeah, I mean we see it all the time. It's just like, and you're in the moment. It's like you just want to play.
I just want to play. I want to get this over with. I want to like do this and everything. So yeah. And
I want to win.
I had a long discussion too about like the characters that benefit from single stock or like from crew battles and everything. So you have like Kazuya can benefit, Joker can benefit, Sephiroth can benefit because he gets 1 wing faster. Joker gets.
With Sephiroth, I feel like it depends because the more stocks behind he has, the more often he gets wings. So it's like you're in a way you are neutering him a little bit, but still wing. It's
if
like,
you're behind, then you get ahead, and it's one of those. Joker is the big one. Joker is really the big one. Able to get the Arsene fast, able to get that type of situation faster is really, really important for those types of characters. So, going back to your original question though, like how does Sonic get through the blocks? You typically do like falling fair in between those two blocks, try and break one, and then you sneak through with spin dash. The big thing that Sonic actually has to do is he can't camp out Steve. Steve is one of those characters that can camp him out better. He does want to camp when he ends up getting like a stock lead, because then he can actually run away. There's not much that Steve can do to get in besides like minecart. So instead, in this type of situation, like he really, really wants to make sure, hey, I'm going to end up just looking to spin dash, trying to set up those blocks, and really, really force him low on resources. You can actually see that G-XTREME is super, super low on resources. He only has 2 blocks left in this situation, so he needs to end up mining a little bit more to try and get back some of those resources. Going for the minecart, that is his last minecart, now looking for those tilts, trying to see what he can do there. Already has diamond, though, so it might not matter.
Yeah, and that's the stock. That's going to be the stock. I assume they're going to stop it right here.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Yes,
good.
We did. Nice.
Good. That's fine. So they did play out the stock. So 1 stock left on Stockton, 6 stocks left on Fisher.
Yeah.
So we will see another player come in for Fisher.
Now, it's actually very interesting, like what you were talking about with what characters can camp out Sonic. There's very few. Steve
Very
being one of
few.
them. Probably Pac-Man. Key. To a lesser extent than Steve, but Key is such a key component to how Pac-Man will want to charge and hold on to it. And
Galaga.
And Galaga, yes.
Galaga is way, 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 way more important in that matchup because of the, like, it creates the little zone, little bubble, and it's like, all right, Sonic, you either got to go, like, spin dash through, and that's going to slow him way down and has a lot more options to, like, slow it down, or he's going to go over the Galaga. Like, you actually don't see a lot of Pac-Mans use Key in those types of matchups. You'll also see them use Melon a lot in that matchup because of it's Melon's the slow one.
Apple's the one that does.
Apple's the one that goes down.
Yes.
Orange is like the normal projectile, but Melon is like the slow projectile. And so again, it creates this like long hitbox that it's like, all right, what do I do as Sonic? So there's a lot of characters like that, and then like those are kind of the only ones that really can camp out Sonic.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I can't really think of any more. Snake is another one that he's just kind of like.
I feel like it depends because Snake is such a unique zoner where it's like, oh, he can throw the projectiles, but he has essentially like his area that's like this big bubble, and Sonic I feel like can still camp him out because grenade as like a projectile itself isn't like the greatest thing. It's like I feel like if you know the timing, you can parry it relatively easily.
Exactly.
And it's like. I
Getting
don't know.
blown up with the C4. You have to set it up perfectly with Snake and everything, and that can be hard against the Sonic.
Yeah, but I think the big one in that would definitely be Steve.
Yeah. I did see the tag. It is Bleu for Fisher, which is the Falco player. He is also doing Wolf, so I'm not sure which one he's going to go in this type of situation. I know he's leaning more towards Wolf, I think, just as a character in general. But yeah, and we do see the Wolf. So, having 2 Wolf characters on Fisher.
That means, you can't go wrong. Wolf is,
fundamental.
Day one fundamental strong character. Yeah. You can't really go wrong.
One of the best characters to learn this game with.
Yeah, exactly. I was like Wolf, Ike, I feel like Lucina, Cloud.
Palu is the big one.
Yes,
Palu is big on, like, this is how you play the game. This is how you do fundamentals. Like, that's the character to, like, learn Smash. Then you have, like, Ike is more of in the Bowser camp of, like, all right, this is my first Smash game. I need to just, like, try and beat my friends. It's not necessarily like learning a lot of those fundamentals first.
True, because especially because of the upbeat buff, like later on. True, I always forget about that, how that kind of like changed his entire interaction, or lack thereof, if you think about it.
Ike is spacing Bowser, quote me. It's Bowser, but he has to learn spacing. That's it.
Very true.
So. But also another really fun character. But like Wolf really, really like teaches you the game, teaches you like the rock paper scissors aspect of Smash, and really seeing the Sonic, going for those spin dash cancels, able to get the back air, just trying to see what he can get onto this Wolf really early. Already at 50%, yeah, really nicely done, getting a good amount of percentage. But Bleu able to juggle, get a couple of hits in. Now just looking to get more hits onto the Sonic.
Yeah, and now it's just a matter of like how much can the Sonic player stay out of the that kind of not not that horizontal range, but kind of like that hovering area where you're at the 30 degree to the other 30 degree. How much can you stay out of wolf range there? And that back air.
Sure.
Sure. It's all gone. Yeah. Let's just back air.
Full hop back air.
Problem solved. Let's do it.
Yeah, might as well. No, I had so many more things to talk about. I had like spacey things that I wanted to talk about, where it's like, oh, you want to laser in all of these matchups. That's what the spaceys want to do. You want to get Sonic to play your game, and we're trying to
Well,
So
yeah.
we ended early.
I mean, well, especially because like I thought we were going to see a lot more laser. Well, granted, it's only one stock, but laser is such a good like pacing tool. It forces characters to slow it down, and sometimes Wolf is like, okay, you slowed down. I'm fine with slowing down with you. It's like I'll play the distance, because especially having a projectile that's like nothing can really interact with it. It's such a heavy neutral tool in so many ways.
Right. Forcing the way that Sonic has to approach you is the important thing in the Sonic matchup. If you just let Sonic approach you however he wants to do it, he's going to win. That's just how it always is. So being able to laser camp, try and force those, anyone with a big projectile, just like you have to approach, you have to force that approach, rather than being like, okay, I'll let you camp me out and I'll eventually approach, maybe get a little bit closer. No, like if you're laser camping, just trying to get like, all right, this is my horizontal zone, and you have to go above.
Say what?
It's more difficult.
Okay. So we're going to take a little bit of a break right now. We're actually going to be breaking for lunch for a little bit. But those were our first 3 matches of the day. Really great showing coming out of everybody. Really, it's been super fun to watch. It's been great casting with you so far.
It's been great.
I hope
yeah.
to cast with you a little later today as well.
Absolutely. So.